Lionel is a productivity nerd and project management enthusiast and content marketing manager for Reich. In his spare time, Lionel produces Asian electronic music with a Filipino flair. Lionel, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jason.
So tell me, Lionel, how did you first begin into the world of internet marketing?
Well, I took a really long route to get here because I've been through so many other jobs. I was once a teacher, once a once sound design teacher, once a managing editor for a magazine. So I got here from publishing, entered into a design agency doing copywriting, ended up working for a B2B company doing HR outsourcing. And that's kind of where my love for the internet and for marketing started to grow. Basically, that HR company was trying to do something that was different, and we were starting a blog, and we had no one who really wanted to own it, and the company wasn't on social media, and so I said, this is all stuff which is interesting and cool and which this industry is not doing. Let's do it. And so I kind of took ownership of that, started to learn what Twitter was. This is back in 2007, which was late for some companies, but for our industry, it was early. And, and then took on the blog duties and, became passionate about like constantly writing content that would help the company position itself as a leader, as someone who knew their stuff and could help customers. So that's kind of where it started. And now I'm in Reich and doing much of the same, but, I've been here for almost 3 years, and it's been a wonderful, wacky, and awesome ride so far.
Oh, that's great. So tell us, Lionel, when you were first starting, you were part of a media company in the Philippines. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that, and then how that helped translate into some of the skills that you have in content marketing.
Yeah, so one of those early jobs was as a copywriter for a design agency, and basically we were doing early websites. This was before the dot-com crash, so this was 99, 2000, and we were building websites using Dreamweaver. That's how old I am. So yeah, one of the things that I learned there was that you have to be brief because people's attention spans are short. And so we were producing content which was bite-sized, which was easy to digest, which was graphically enticing so that people would look at them, these ads, these promos, and these websites. And all of those lessons stuck with me throughout the years. So it's always been a little bit. I like to think of it as getting the best bits from each job, and it's all come together and is now useful in what I'm doing. Because the skills that I learned as a managing editor for a magazine, are basically you need a powerful headline. From the design agency, keep it short. From teaching, you have to know your audience. You have to be able to help your audience specifically with what they need. They're not students anymore, but now they're readers. So it all ties up somehow. So
That's great. So then, as you began doing some work with all these different businesses and companies from different niches, what are some of the common traits of success that you notice that's helped kind of shape how you create content at Reich?
this is actually a pretty good question. And when I started thinking about it, I realized something. All of these pain points which we try to address in content, no matter what your industry, they're basically boiled down to the same thing. That's something that I've been seeing ever since, even when you're talking to HR people or advertisers or business intelligence people, they're always looking for something which helps them be more efficient, which helps them work better, and which saves them time or money. So it's like no matter what industry you're in, these are like the universal pain points. And if you hit them, then you're able to tell a compelling story. And it's not a story about your features or your brand or your product. It's a story about your customer and how they can succeed, and how your tool or your product or your service will help them reach that victory.
Okay, so then let's shift a little bit. So, a lot of that I've seen very true with B2B. Have you seen the same with B2C, that they also desire to want to also save time and money?
I think there's a little bit of that, maybe to a lesser extent, and because there's also the appeal of the instant gratification in B2C, where something which has a sale on this day, you're instantly going to click on that because it's only on this day, and it's cool and it looks good. So there's a little bit more of that. It's less of the efficiency and more on like having an instant win.
And sounds kind of also like a little bit of also the status then, of how you're perceived by other people too.
That's true. Making if it happens to make you look better, or it happens to elevate your status among your peers. You've got the coolest gadget, or something which can be talked about. Then, yeah.
Awesome. So, in what ways has doing different types of marketing in different niches helped you to be a better marketer overall?
It's just helped me basically see different audiences. Again, it boils down to knowing what they're going through, and you get to see people struggling with problems which you can solve. So you're able to like get on their side and be more sympathetic, more you understand their pain. So that's something which has helped a lot.
Okay. And then as somebody, let's say an entrepreneur is first trying to learn about content marketing, what should she first learn in order to get a better understanding of how to build up their business with content marketing?
I think the first thing that you have to learn as an entrepreneur is that you started this business or this product because of your passion for doing something, for building this thing, and you have to communicate this passion. Something about excitement and energy is very infectious. You can easily share that energy and get other people excited about it. But you can't always be in the same room with everyone. So you have to be able to translate this into words and find the places where your potential customers are going online, and post that story there so that you can get other people infected with your excitement about how this new business or how this new product is going to help them do their stuff better.
Oh, that's great. And I think there's a lot to be said too about when that passion is there in your writing and it's communicated clearly, that also helps it to spread, because a lot of other people get excited about it and then want to just spread it to other people.
That's right. If you can't be your own best advocate or your own best salesperson for the company that you started, then you might want to ask yourself if you're doing the right thing, because you have to be excited in order to invest all these hours and all this energy into doing something. And I think that's there are ways to get around doing it efficiently. You can dictate into your phone, or you can have someone transcribe it for you. You don't have to actually type it, but you have to share those words, and it has to be your words in order for people to get excited. And this is like the essence. All of your little pieces, your blog posts, your social media, you can build it up from that, from your story, from your initial why do I exist, or why does this business exist story.
Okay. And then what are some of the biggest wastes of time you notice different entrepreneurs or content marketers focus on when they're trying to grow their business with content marketing?
Probably a big waste of time, I think, is just trying to be on every social network. It's draining. It's absolutely draining to try to repost everything. You have to focus on where your customers really are, and you won't find this out until you actually ask them. Go to conferences, talk to people who are using your product, find out where do they hang out online. Do they get their news from Hacker News? Do they get it on Facebook? You know, I would imagine if your product is something with like home decoration, you're probably getting ideas from Pinterest. You know, find out where do they hang out, where do they get their news, where do they want to learn about new things which will help them, and go to those social networks or go to those channels, and you know, that's where you post it. That's where you promote your stuff.
Okay. And then as somebody is trying to figure out, okay, you know, how do I first start getting that ball rolling? Can you tell us maybe, Lionel, what's been a successful marketing campaign that you've done that you helped either create or execute on? Tell us a little bit maybe about some of the results. How are you able to get those results, and how somebody else who's listening to this might be able to replicate that kind of success for themselves?
Sure. Here at Reich, every year we do this work management survey. It's basically a way that we can ask our users, our customers, you know, what are the problems or what are the trends that you're seeing in the workplace? What are you struggling with? How do you work? And this year we actually came up with an idea. It just came up like informally in the workplace. We said, we were asking ourselves, I wonder if people curse a lot in the workplace. Do they swear? And is it common? And we figured this might be a great idea as part of the survey. So we went ahead and we built up the survey. We asked them, do you swear at the office? How do you feel about it? And we got some interesting data. It turns out that people in general don't like swearing, but overwhelmingly, they actually do it. And that, you know, sometimes more women than men actually swear at the office, and stuff like that. And from this really low cost piece of content, you know, it's just a survey, we were able to generate around 100 plus articles around the world about the survey data. We got a mention on the Today Show, and you know, it's got legs up to today. We're still seeing articles every week coming out. It was one piece of content. It was a little provocative, but it's still related to what we did, which is helping teams collaborate and do teamwork better. So it's still related to what we do, which is helping teams become better. And it actually blew up and became sort of something that is generating a lot of interest.
Oh, that's great. So what elements about that do you think was carried a lot of that success, so that way, you know, you guys got a lot of different articles mentioning that particular survey, which, you know, in turn meant a lot of traffic to your site, not to mention, you know, just even the overall brand value, saying, you know, hey, we've been mentioned in Today, or, you know, what other outlets. What were some of those key elements you think of success that made it such a great campaign?
I think just the nature of the topic, having that a little bit of provocativeness about it, piqued people's interest. It also generated interest from journalists who wanted to see, let's see, do people actually do it? And having something that was a topic which was also, I guess, in a way universal, because we're all working with different personalities, and it'll come up now and then. So having something that's universal and provocative at the same time, I think those were the two major elements which helped.
Okay. Yeah, and I think I also, just from my own experience, I've also noticed too, just having that kind of original research makes it something that's also intriguing, because it provides new data into the field that, you know, hasn't really been talked about or discussed. Whereas, like, you know, typical articles may just be, you know, kind of rehashed from other articles that are out there.
That's right. So having your own data will you know, you own it. So it's more of, it's a unique thing which no one else can talk about, because you're the only one with access to it. So it's awesome to generate your own data that way.
Okay. So then, as somebody is starting to do more things with content marketing, what is some of the bigger things that you think that somebody should focus on? Say the 20% a content marketer should really focus on, that will result in 80% of their results.
Well, here, basically that 20%, we invest a lot of time in trying to understand the personas, our buyer personas, or our blog readers. We try to figure out who cares about the product, because our software, which is a project management software, it's used by a wide variety of people, from creatives, to technical project managers, to small business owners, and even enterprise leaders. People with several hundred employees, all using the same tool. So we're trying to create content that 20% of trying to understand the personas. We're creating content that appeals to each of these personas. So 20% of our time is spent brainstorming topics which will appeal to them, making sure we communicate with them, and we schedule it out so it's fair on the blog calendar. And then the rest of it is just execution.
And how do you guys take that time really getting to understand your buyer personas? So you talked a little bit about surveys before. Maybe talk to us a little bit. What do you do when setting up that survey, or what kind of questions do you ask, and what kind of things are you looking for when you're trying to understand your buyer persona?
We're trying to look for like who has the most pain. That's one, and who makes the decisions. We're also trying to look at basically the type of personality as well that uses this kind of tool. Someone who enjoys productivity tips or tricks, would be different from someone who's got a messy desk and who just loves the chaos. So the mindset, I guess, we're trying to understand the mindset, the pain points, and the whether they make the decisions or not. And so we talk to our salespeople, we talk to our customers directly, and find out what are the things that you want to read about. And we do get a lot of suggestions from readers, and even via social media and through our support channels, about what they want to see. Why don't you create something about content planning? And that's how I ended up writing a post about how to plan your content using Write, that sort of thing. So it's talking to people directly and asking them, what do you want to read about? What will help you understand the tool better? What will help with your pains?
Gotcha. So then maybe tell us a little bit about, as you did those different surveys and you started to learn about your buyer personas, what were some of the interesting insights that you found that then began to shape the content that you created?
Interesting insights. I guess, there's one interesting thing that basically, let's see, something specific. That a lot of our content is not just written down, but also graphics. We all know that visuals and infographics are a major draw to your blog. But one thing that's also helped us, and we've even seen this in terms of SEO, are people love templates, apparently. And talking to them and asking for data using surveys, we've also figured out that people want easy fixes. So if you can provide them with a template for let's say, a project calendar, or let's say, how do you create a statement of work? You provide them with the actual downloadable template in your blog post. That's another piece of content that can generate clicks. You're giving them an easy fix, an easy tool which they have right away, and which they can use and which they can help promote. So, the mindset of, give me what I need to do my work better, give it to me quick.
Awesome. What kind of different tools do you use when you are going through your process with content marketing?
We really use just two tools. In general, you need three tools. You need a writing tool, you need an analytics tool so you can see whether your writing is working, and you need like a work tool where you can assign tasks to other people. In our case, the writing tool and the work management tool is the same. We use our own product, which is Write. So we set it up so that you can we write the blog posts within the system, assign it to people to publish or to create social media for or to create graphics for, and then we look at the analytics at the end. So really, it boils down to two or three tools.
Awesome. And then what is something that you believe true related to content marketing you think most do not?
Huh. I think the general feeling for especially for a lot of B2B content marketers, is that you have to be professional. You have to be kind of, your content should be the equivalent of being in a suit and tie all the time, formal, kind of cold, professional, in a way, maybe boring with quotation marks, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I think this is something that we've been doing with our own blog. The way we write is we're trying to give it a voice that's kind of informal. It's conversational. It's almost like you're around the water cooler, so you can you talk about topics which people relate to, and it doesn't have to be boring just because it's B2B. So you can break that mold and talk to them about issues which matter, like swearing. I don't think other B2B companies would think about, let's talk about swearing on the blog. It's something that would probably be, that's hands off. Let's not go there. But over here, we're saying, let's break that mold and be interesting and be relevant and be, appeal to people on a level which, affects them. Because this is how people work. I mean, do they enjoy that? And these are the ways to approach it. Don't be boring, but be interesting.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lionel. You provided us with a lot of great insight into what it is that really has been effective for you in doing content marketing across the different niches that you've worked for. If somebody wants to connect with you, what is the best way for them to do so? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Writer Lionel. And if you do a search for my name, you'll probably just see it's everywhere on the web. But yeah, Twitter is probably the fastest.
All right, sounds great. Well, thank you, Lionel. Appreciate all the advice that you shared with us today.
Thanks, Jason. Anytime.